Mount Rushmore wrestling managers.
There's a couple on here that I think all three of us are going to have at least two of these people on them. The other two is where things will vary some, but the first two, I think any wrestling fan are going to have the first two on there.
Who's that?
You want me to start it off?
I'll start off. I'll do mine first.
Okay.
Because I got 4, and I'm pretty sure they're...
2 of them are definitely the same. I'm pretty sure.
I would assume 3 of these are the same.
Okay.
Right, but I got Paul Heyman.
Of course.
I got Jim Cornette.
Okay.
I thought about him, but I didn't put him on mine. But
Got Bobby Heenan.
Of course.
Yep. And I got Jimmy Hart.
That's on mine.
So that's my 4. Like,
okay.
And like I said, I knew everyone knows Bobby Heenan and Paul Heyman are going to be on here.
Right.
If you don't put them on here, either you're too young to know who Bobby Heenan is,
or you're trolling.
Yeah.
Or you're just an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, I could see someone who's younger not putting Bobby Heenan on there because they just don't know who he is.
Yeah.
But if you're 30 years old or older, you're putting Bobby Heenan on this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's no choice in the matter.
Absolutely.
Tim, you want to give yours?
Yeah. First, good call on Jim Cornette, though. I did think about putting Jim on there, but I did put this person over Jim, though. But I got Bobby and Paul.
Okay.
Jimmy Hart.
Okay.
And I put Sensational Sherry on there.
You know what? That was the other person I was struggling with. I was like, Sherry or Jim? And I was like, I got to put Jim on her. So
the only reason I put Sherry on is because she took bumps. You know, she wasn't afraid to get her hands dirty in the ring. You know what I mean? She was tough. You know what I mean? You could slam her and whatever, you know. Even though her promos weren't, you know, she just screamed. But she managed a lot of great
I thought about
people.
Vicky Guerrero also.
Vicky was a good one, too. But I just went with Sherry just because, you know, obviously the younger generation don't know who Sherry is, but we do.
Mm-hmm.
But I just felt like she doesn't get appreciated enough as a manager. You know what I mean? And I just thought she was always great. You know what I mean?
I'm not upset with that.
Yeah.
I forgot about Sensational Sherry. The first woman that came to mind for me was Miss Elizabeth, and I'm like, no. But I'm not mad at that list.
And also, since Sherry was in one of the greatest promos with Booker T with the Hulk Hogan, she was there. So
she definitely was. My favorite.
But
you see it in his face, right? You should have just kept moving, buddy. You should just act like you never said it.
But I just feel like she never really gets talked about as much.
Yeah.
You know, and just. So that's why I feel like that's why I put her over Jim Cornette, because even though like I like Jim, you know, I know a lot of people don't like Jim today because he's old school and you know and he doesn't have a filter, but I'm okay with that. I like Jim. I think Jim is hilarious. I think him and Vince Russo's feud to this day is hilarious. It's very entertaining.
Yeah.
But I just gave it. I felt like Sherry just took the bumps and Jim didn't. You know,
that's fair. That's fair.
Okay, I like that. But mine is Paul Heyman.
Of course.
Bobby Heenan.
Yes.
Jim Cornette.
Really?
I included Jim Cornette.
Wow, I'm a little shocked you put Jim in. Okay.
I was deciding between Jim Cornette and Jimmy Hart.
Okay.
And I'm like,
I put them both.
I like Jim Cornette better. And my last one is Luna Vachon. For pretty much the same reason why you chose Sherry. She was the only manager in my mind that would scare other people.
Okay.
No one's afraid of Paul Heyman, Bobby Heenan, Jim Cornette.
Yeah.
You're afraid of Luna Vachon.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So it brought a new dynamic to it.
That's fair.
The managers fear. They're not just some person trolling, sniveling in the corner.
Yeah,
no,
okay.
Don't fuck with her. She will fuck you up.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I gotta include Luna Vachon.
That's a great pick.
Yeah.
I'm really still shocked about Jim Cornette. That's a good pick, though. Great, like I told you, that's a great pick. I'm really surprised you put him in there. I didn't think you'd be a big Jim
Just
Cornette.
because I'm not a fan of how he is now,
right,
doesn't mean I'm going to ignore his contributions then.
That's fair.
Yes, I think right now he's that grumpy old man. Get off my lawn.
Yeah.
Go lay down in the ditch, old man.
But that doesn't change that he was an incredible manager back when he was in his prime.
The Foreign Fanatics, when he's running the Foreign Fanatics, is that what they were called?
Nobody picked Paul Ellering?
I didn't pick Paul Ellering because I only associated them with the
AOP.
No, the Legion of Doom. AOP is.
I was supposed to say, come on, man.
AOP is meh.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
Okay. What about Slick? Okay.
Teddy, you can go Teddy Long.
You know, I didn't realize. See, I didn't know Teddy was a manager for a while. I knew him more as a referee.
Everyone knew. Yeah, most people knew him as a referee, and then of course his run as SmackDown general manager.
Yeah,
he made everyone go one-on-one with the Undertaker.
But I didn't know he was a manager like in WCW as much because I was younger. I realized he managed Doom.
Yep,
I didn't realize that. And
but yeah, I think that's my 4. I got
okay. Those I like all the picks.
I mean, you know, it's funny because like we had, you know, it's pretty much the same people.
Yeah, like that's he said. At least 2 of them was going to be on there.
That's
at least 2.
We knew at least 2 was going to be on all 3 of ours.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I was surprised. I thought you were going to put Don Callis on there.
I thought you were going to put Don Callis.
I thought Tim was going to put him on there.
I do like.
I was like, Tim's going to put Don Callis on there.
Tim was going to put Don Callis on there.
Hey,
I'm like, he's not there yet.
Yeah, he crossed my mind, but I don't think he's there yet neither. What he's doing right now in AEW is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'll put Nana on there. That's like his dad's.
Yeah, his dad is great.
like,
I like those. I like those lists. Those are good.